I burned my A-level cert and I drink my own pee.
没有他我会哭，就是没有他爸爸。
Why do you put so much effort into producing so much content revolving around mental health?
I'd love to give you an altruistic reason. The reality is that I'm trying to save myself.
Doing the content saves yourself.
Yeah.
It's your own version of therapy.
It is selfish for me to do it because it makes me feel good about myself. To me, narcissism and altruism is both sides of the same coin.
This self-soothing process of creating content, right? How would you rate your mental state now versus the past that you have walked out from?
The darkest period for me was around July 2022 to July 2023. Nearly took my life twice, wrote out my suicidal notes, ready to send them. I bought envelopes, I bought origami heart shapes. To be in that state, preparing for your death, every day just waking up, visualizing your death, how you would execute it, thinking about your life, what you have done, what you have not done, the girls that you have loved, people that you have maybe some regrets with. So just really thinking about your life those couple of days, almost as if you are going to go. Impossible to describe that feeling, right?
It's like you were planning your own funeral.
In a way. It's impossible to describe that feeling, but anyway, going back to the original question, that was the darkest period of my life. It'd probably be, my first depression was 18 years old, right? That was tough enough, but this was worse because I built up more castles in the sky and they were built on glass. And so all these things were like, okay, now my esteem is built on these things and I feel like I can't live up to that anymore. And therefore, it was very painful. My mental health was probably minus 100 upon 10. Now it's probably 7.5 upon 10. So it's a huge improvement.
And these like castles that you were building up in your mind, what were there? What were some of these castles?
Wow. So after my first depression at 18, and I went through mania, ironically, there was a time where, Kurt Davis on your podcast before, he talked about mania. So it's a state of extreme high. A thought came to my mind that I'll be the savior of Singapore. I named the video Avatar We. I burned my A-level cert and I drink my own pee. I did a lot of things.
A lot of us have seen that video.
Oh, you saw it?
I've seen a
still. So now what I didn't realize, and I only realized this in hindsight, what I didn't realize is that I started to build my esteem on something else.
Okay.
So now it's no longer grades, right?
right?
But then I shifted it to business. I shifted it to these ideals that I have.
Pursuit.
Yeah, which is to be rich, successful, which to have influence, to have fame. And then when I lose all these things or I have this perception that I've lost all these things, wow, it was painful. So it's both psychological and physiological, right? Depression can be understood from both angles, both chemical imbalance and your psychology. So my psychology was not the best because because my esteem is built on these things. We glorify entrepreneurship a lot, but you don't see the people who have died from it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Literally, they work themselves to death.
We only see the success examples.
Thankfully, life brought me back into balance, right? Because life always gives you feedback.
And you said that in some of your Instagram stories or one of your TikToks, you said that you went through a period where you were medicated. So did the medication help you, or did it evolve your state to another form?
It's a very good question. The answer is that I really don't know, because I'm not sure the effect the medication had on me, right? If I just tell you off the cuff like that, then it had no effect on me. I didn't feel better taking the medication. And I took 7-8 pills, expensive stuff. One pill is $8.
Wow.
I went to the very expensive psychiatrist, One pill is $8, not including the rest of the pills.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can't remember the exact term for it. Apparently it's a new drug. But anyway, the standard antidepressants were there, fluoxetine, different stuff, antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, anti-anxiety medication. I will plug the name, but I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So these are very common stuff. And there were side effects. There were very strong side effects. There's one that made me... I really should have remembered this before coming on podcast. So for people's awareness, I'm so sorry about this.
It's okay.
But there's one that got me very drowsy. Very drowsy. Not very, I just feel like it's very horrible. So then we kind of eased off that. Anyway, I took medication for almost a year. And this is the second depression. We're talking about the second one. Then one day I decided that, okay, I'm going to switch my medication to supplements.
Oh,
I'm going to stop.
To health supplements.
Yeah, I'm going to stop taking these medications. Okay. There are a series of events, one of which is Matt Ling and Iskandar from Project Green Ribbon, right? Okay. So for people who have not heard of them, they've been through their own struggle. She lived on the streets from young
Oh.
Was pregnant at 14. Met people and went to KTV at 14. So she was a
Went
KTV
to
hostess.
KTV at 14.
Yeah, she became a KTV hostess at 14. You know, and eventually she been through a lot in her life. She came out now, she started this called Project Green Ribbon to help people with mental health conditions. Right now she has 3 kids with her husband. But anyway, they're good friends. I treat them like family. And they're the only few ones that truly understood. Okay, no one can truly understand because everybody's situation is unique.
It's different.
Yeah, but they empathize to a very large extent to let me know that, Kevin, this is temporary. You maybe need to. Disclaimer here, it works different for everybody, but to them it's like, now you need to get off the medication slowly because it's causing a loop, you know, and that's why I got off it. Now I switched to a very heavy dosage of calcium, of omega for the brain, magnesium as well, and somehow it just got better. So the second depression was started with very high anxiety. Okay, I lost $230,000 from options, NFTs, crypto. My emotions were up and down, right? And I tried to make back the money aggressively. Anxiety was so high, right, that it led to these very scary sensations. So one day I started to feel sensations on my body.
Like physically?
Yeah. I started to feel my shirt on my skin. I started to feel my soles of my feet on the ground. Now, now if I ask you to feel your soles on the ground, you will direct your attention there, right? It's like mindfulness. It's a benign thing. But when it happened, it was so confusing to me because like I can't get rid of it. It's like OCD, a bit like OCD. Because OCD is anxiety disorder, by the way. You can't get rid of the thought. It's like it's there.
Yeah.
It's like it's bothering you. It's like mosquito.
Persistent.
Yeah, it's like 24/7, right? It's a mosquito, but worse. So then this disrupted my ability to work heavily.
I
And
can
then
imagine.
Then it led to a whole downward spiral.
Oh.
Whole downward spiral. That's why, and one of the things that happened was that I started to hallucinate, right? I started to have like the world around me would kind of like squeeze in and I cannot move. So like I'll be living, but it's like everything around me, I cannot speak. Everything around me is like,
it's crunching in.
yes, something like that. It's like, I cannot describe it. So it's a very weird feeling. Until now, there's no diagnosis of this, by the way. That's why the mind is so scary. Because up until now, with all the research, we don't understand it fully. I just felt I couldn't do anything anymore because random times will just happen. Everything will cave in. But then Ling and Iskandar told me that, Kevin, it's a nervous problem. It's a nerve system problem. They gave me a book. Now, again, whether it's placebo or not, I really don't know. But the book explained me to some extent. Some only. Somehow, I switched to supplementation. I took one step at a time. Just started to go back to work slowly. And as fast as I got into it, I slowly got out of it. It's a miracle by accounts. That's why I sit here and look at the camera and say there is hope. Because I'm so grateful to even be speaking to you. You have no idea. In that state, right? In that state is really very close to death. Really. Very, very close to death. Like everything doesn't make sense. It's insane. So then for my mind to go back into balance again, right? In a short period of time, not really short, like 1-2 months. It was, I'm so grateful. And then I got my heart broken and then I started Radical Kindness, which we can talk about. But yeah, Radical Kindness would not be what it is today if not for this whole experience.
And so this deep experience you went through is actually just another phase of experiences you've gone through personally because you have documented in quite striking detail your challenges with mental health even when you were studying for your A-levels, right?
May I share that if you don't mind?
Yes, sure.
You can go on my Instagram, Kevin Wee, and you see the highlight story.
Correct.
So I documented in a 35 page with pictures.
The one with 35 stories, right?
Yeah. So I do. And I'm also going to write a book for my birthday, From Insanity to Radical Kindness.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably have some value propositions. I might think of a better value proposition title, but I'm going to cover my story and 30 practical lessons in 30 years.
Why do you think A-levels is such a big thing when you're young, as for a young person, other than the obvious academic implications?
You have kids that are being sold the idea that their esteem, their future is built upon their grades. Conditioned to believe in the scarcity. For you to win, someone else has to lose. They don't believe in abundance, right? The bell curve. So when you don't have
bell curve, the famous
bell curve, right? When you don't have abundance, right? It's scary because to you everything is competition. Then you get scared. You're driven by fears, like what happens if I don't compete? Do I have a future or whatever? And then you get stressed because attachment leads to suffering. You're attached to this idea that I must get this. And And that was the same for me lah. When I wanted to get straight A's for my A-levels and get into medicine or law, and then I realized the first exam I messed up because of anxiety, I just crumbled from there. I almost gave up my A-levels. If not for my mom, I would have given up my A-levels. I don't even know where I would be today.
Yeah. And you mentioned there was one instance whereby you handed out blank papers for a particular examination.
Math.
Yeah.
So GP was bad because GP was the start. I already had issues, anxiety issues. So I started to feel like the wind on my skin. Started to feel the light. Because anxiety basically is a heightened alert system. They're more heightened. So then I couldn't focus and I thought I'd screw up my GP. And then that led to eventually my math A-levels. So paper 1 I handed up as a mental block for the first time in my life, right? And it feels basically like oxygen is being cut off to your brain.
Wow.
So that I know I practiced this for hours and hours and hours, for years. But I cannot function. I just copied down the question.
Wow.
Scary feeling. And that was really the start of depression. Really the start of depression, because in real time, I could see my mind and I could feel my mind and my physiology change. In real time, because my thoughts started to get so intense. What's going to happen in the future? What's going to happen in this way? Then all of a sudden, this attachment
You
becomes...
are projecting your
future,
worth on
Yeah.
your self-worth based on what will happen in the future.
Imagine this, you are in your major exam. Everyone is telling you that without this, you have no future. Right? Then now, what am I going to do? I'm handing out blank papers. What am I going to do in my life? At that point, everything, like the attachment is so strong. So the resulting resentment is strong. Resulting pain is strong. Because it's just a spectrum of relativity, right? So then I slipped into depression and I wanted to quit my A's because I cannot see myself doing it anymore. My mom told me, it's okay, just try our best. We went and take some medication from a GP. Okay, mood stabilizers, whatever. And then I went to a separate room to take my A-levels.
Wow.
Yeah, they were nice enough. The person was
very
nice
kind.
enough.
That's very kind of the school.
Yeah. Then they bring me to a separate room, just me and a fan. And then I got distracted by the fan sound. So I got to tell the invigilator to switch off the fan. Then I get too hot. Then I tell her to on the fan again. So I was literally going in between, turning on the fan, offing the fan,
Wow.
finishing the rest of my papers. Miraculously, I got a BBD for my A-levels. I have no idea how I did it.
Yeah, you still survived.
Yeah. I got a BBD in the worst, one of the worst mental states, you know.
Yeah.
And then that led me to eventually get a discretionary admission to NTU.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in NTU, what did you study?
I did communications.
Wow, we have something in common. I studied mass comm in poly.
It's nice.
Yeah,
It's the most slack degree ever.
Yeah.
It's all, it's all projects, no finals. I had a lot of time to build my businesses in uni. Or during the interview, right? I went to the interviewer because actually I got into biological science, but then I said, no, I want comms. So they got me an interview with the dean. And I remember I was still in mania at that phase. So I went into the interview with like a huge ass necklace that I made myself, a cross. So I had a huge ass necklace and like this printed t-shirt, slippers. My hair was not even done. I went into the room and they asked me, why should we take you? I looked him in the eye. I said, you look here. I have a dream. I said, I'm going to raise awareness for mental health, blah, blah. And Wikimi likes...
You have.
Yeah, exactly. And Wikimi likes crazy people. So they took me in.
Wikimi likes crazy people.
Yeah. So they took me in, right? They took me in and then I fulfilled their promise. My final year project was a mental health campaign, which I turned into a business.
Wow.
Yeah. Before Radical Kindness, of course.
Yeah. And actually, you've made good on your promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, you have actually
it's a long journey, like 10 years.
generated millions of views for mental health awareness.
Yeah. It's so like as much as people might feel like this is a big achievement, quote unquote, like I don't feel like when I'm at home by myself, it's a very lonely journey. Yeah, I honestly don't get, you might think I get a lot of adoration or praise. I do get DMs from time to time, very meaningful ones. Right? I think the total of 3 DMs that say, because of you, I decided not to take my life. You know,
Wow, that's major. Yeah.
Yeah, and that to me is the reason why I do what I do. Like one DM like that, it's worth 100 hate comments. So anyway, but besides that, it's a lonely journey.
Yeah, we need to delve into this. What do you mean you get 8 comments for trying to promote mental health?
Wow. I think people are not used to that purity of kindness. I think
they feel there's something.
There's something behind it, like there's agenda or
you go send them some
MLM.
Some health supplement. Click in the link in bio to buy this supplement. And don't worry, on SINGAPLEX, we are very open about our agenda. My agenda is to sell more merch and of course my consulting business. Click in the link for DeluluJuice.com.
Nice. Yeah, and I think people should be allowed to plug stuff because everyone needs to make a living, right? But anyway, we talk about it later. I think the point is that that people I didn't realize it until the Brad Go video. So before the Brad Go, before the Brad Go thing, right? Actually, 99% were nice comments, right? It was going viral. It's new in Singapore. No one has done it before. The algo is very kind to me, right? So I was getting thousands of followers by the video.
This is for TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. The algo is very kind to me, and then all of a sudden I do the Brad Go video, and then someone calls me out for it. I don't blame.
And okay, for those who don't know, Brad Go is this hustle guy, right? And then so what did you do in the Brad Go video?
Interesting. So I don't know why. Okay, so let me try and check my thought process here. Why did I do it, right? A couple of reasons. One is just jealousy. I was like, wow, these guys getting a lot of views on the ride on the trend.
But is he getting the right kind of engagement?
I think for his purposes, for his intent and purposes, right? It's a different strategy. It's a different strategy. Anyway, so I decided I'm going to ride on the trend and kind of play up his character a little bit. So I'm going to rent a Maserati and do the exact same things, play up his character a little bit. There's a parody.
Yes, correct.
So actually, if you really look at it, obviously TikTok took down the video already, but actually, no, I privated it. But yeah, anyway, so you look through the entire video, a lot of scenes were actually neutral. We're not really technically making fun of him. It was just his persona. There were 1 or 2 scenes where I put my ear there. His ears are a little bit big, right? So I put my ears and I squint my eyes like, welcome to the real world. Because that's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
So I think that scene was the part that people picked out and like, no, we're making fun of him.
The personal attack.
Yeah.
They feel it was a personal attack.
Yeah, I don't think it was a personal attack. It's just an excuse to bring me down.
Okay.
Anyway, I think whatever people feel is valid, right? So maybe they feel that it's not congruent with my brand because all my stuff is like 100 videos of kindness. Then suddenly I do a parody, pulling my ears like that. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And I acknowledge this because I was inexperienced. I'm not aware of public image. I'm new to this media thing, right? So to me, it's a fun thing to do. But then I realized, no, in hindsight, it's bad.
It was a bad call.
Yeah. I don't regret it because it taught me less. Point is that one thing that my friend told me was interesting. She said that, actually, I don't think, Kevin, like, it's because of the Brand Go video. I think that people really had some skepticism towards you.
Because why is the guy putting so much effort into promoting mental health and kindness? Have some agenda, whatever. He has some like a long game coming. Right?
Yeah, something like that. So when, or maybe they feel like I'm underneath the surface, I'm unkind or whatever. Anyway, so that video became a way to confirm their bias.
I see. So they actually don't believe that someone will do so much content because they genuinely want to champion mental health and wellness. Yeah.
And again, these people, I will never know their lives, right? Like maybe they're going through certain things. That's why they're naturally a bit more skeptical of purity of kindness. And I don't blame them. Singapore is heavily agenda driven. And we talked about scarcity earlier.
That's the bell curve. The bell curve is your god.
Yeah. So to have someone genuinely lifting somebody up with, they don't understand my story. They don't understand that I'm being selfish. Like I said at the start of this podcast.
Yeah, correct. Your act of kindness is actually also an act of selfishness because that's your personal therapy. And so what actually is your ultimate dream, Kevin?
It's actually radical kindness. Like, so everything was a build up towards this. When I faced mania at 18, right, like the thought that came into my mind is that I'm going to raise awareness for this, And 10 years later, it came true. So I have a dream book. I didn't bring it. But in my early 20s, I wrote out all my dreams in my dream book. One of them is to write a book. One of them is to build a social following with a lot of influence and millions of views. So I actually wrote it down. Now you're talking about
your vision board.
You're talking about a manifest now, it's Gen Z thing, but it's not a new thing. It's basically whatever you believe in your mind is you achieve.
Yes.
Because everything is created twice. This jacket, this microphone, this watch, somebody had to envision it in their mind before it's created in reality.
That's true.
So when people say don't dream, come back to reality, it's very ironic because reality is created by your dreams.
Yes.
So dream is a birthright. We must dream. Of course, make sure you balance it with not attaching your ideals to, not attaching your whole worth to a dream.
To the outcome.
Yeah, but to me, it's good to have ideals and strive towards. And for me, that is to love and be loved in return. It's this on the back of my shirt.
And do you think all these mental health problems we see in society nowadays are because of the fact that many of us have grown up in a sort of a Hunger Games kind of education system whereby the bell curve is truly our God.
I truly think so, because whatever input comes out, right, garbage in, garbage out, we are technically computers in some sense. And so like when you program kids like that with this thought process, then the output will be like that. You reap what you sow, right? It's karma. And the output is like that. That's why you don't have people genuinely building people up rarely, you see. You know, you don't have someone going on TikTok saying, I love this content creator and start talking. No, it's always bad shit.
Always some negative shit, right?
Right? And views like, okay.
Or they're waiting for them to fall and things like
And
that.
the nature of it is a negativity bias. It incentivizes stuff like that. If you go and complain about someone that cut your queue, you probably get more views than saying someone nice to me today.
Yes.
And
that's why you did your content.
Yeah, and thankfully enough, there are people who enjoy it. It's just that now the views are dropping. I don't know whether because people are tired of it, because of various factors, but I'm trying to dial it back.
I think now it's just there are more creators on the platform.
Yeah.
And it's harder to get that level of engagement as before. Yeah. But that happens to every platform.
Got you. I get where you're coming from, but I also feel like it's either TikTok is no longer promoting me as a new creator. I think they tend to promote new creators a bit more. I don't know. Anyway, I reached out to TikTok, I'm still getting an answer whether I'm shadow banned or not. Because I feel like my videos nowadays they don't get picked up as fast on FYP. And I feel it's being restricted for some reason. I could be overthinking. That's why I need to get an answer.
Then do you think there's a parallel here that's happening for all of us in this world now? When we're young, we grow up through the Hunger Games education system.
Yeah.
And the bell curve is our God. And now when we are older and we become, they say everyone's a content creator, right? Our God is the algorithm. And that's sort of like our new form of attachment. Do you think so?
And people are not aware of this, right? We doom scroll. And I say this with no disrespect, right? I respect every creator that puts his face out there and for people to throw stones at, right? But the reality is you're not going to get intellectual depth from TikTok. You're not going to get nuanced, many nuanced opinions there.
Yeah, true.
Right? It's an entertainment platform. Yes, there's some education there, but
by and large, it's entertainment.
8 hours you scroll on FYP. How many of it has intellectual depth? It's just 8 out of 10 videos is just funny stuff, people complaining. So then I don't go to TikTok to get educated. Right? I go there as a business to understand what people are talking about, what appeals to people.
What's trending.
But people go there as a form of whatever. They spend their time there, and it's sad because you don't do your brain.
Yeah, that's true.
And
how do you think being a content creator that's so immersed in all these platforms, right? What do you do to wind down from creating content?
I can't. Sometimes I'm stuck in it. That's why now I'm taking a break. I've posted one video every day since the start.
Since the beginning?
And 9 November.
Of the journey?
9 November, yeah.
Wow.
More than one actually. I have 170 plus videos.
Wow. Yeah. And do you think this dedication and work ethic is actually what built you up during your education years and also led to the obsession with the grades?
That's always a double-edged sword, right? I think in Buddhism, you talk about polarity, and everything has two sides. So nothing's inherently good or bad. Like every seeming benefit has equal amount of drawbacks, and vice versa. So something that seems to be good, drive, hard work, also it's its fair share of downsides, right? And then you pay the price if you don't mitigate it. So obviously I paid the price and I learned from it, because you have so much emotional investment into something, naturally you're going to get attached to it. It's very hard to surrender.
Speaking of attachments, you have documented your journey about, trying to find love and relationships. And things
transitioning
like that, right?
to that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you got your heart broken and that resulted in a lot of content as well.
And this girl that I met after my depression, it was a different state, right? I came out of depression. I was desperately lonely at that time. I came out, I was like starting to build back on my feet again. So naturally, there's somebody that comes into your life, similar interests. I don't want to reveal too much, because I want to keep identity private. But similar interests, they start talking from 2 to like 5 a.m. in the morning. Every day, just talking about random stuff, right? 2 to 6. And you rarely have somebody like that just talks to you freely. So anyway, one day I surprised her below her block. That was the first day we met. She had some issues. Then I went to talk to her and we spent the night talking from 2 to 6 under her block. Next time I asked her out was a random, having a random chat, 5 a.m. And then she was like, breakfast? ? I picked her up and we went to the airport to spend a day because I was sending somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
So we had no sleep. We just spent a day at the airport together. And it was a nice time spending with someone because I've never had that for years.
That's like the movie Before Sunset or After Sunset.
I don't know, I watch movies. But I spent a day with her. I bought her clothes. It was fun. There was like some flirting here and there, you know, and like
I see.
it was nice because I haven't had that feeling in years. And then after the third date, formally I brought her out to this restaurant and this rooftop bar and I said, hey, I like you. Like I want to seriously pursue you and like see where this goes. And she was like, yeah, I like you too. You make me feel safe, but I'm very hesitant because I'm emotionally unavailable.
That's the trademark line that everyone uses.
But then again, I was naive, right? I've always won against the odds in my life. I've always, when I was a tennis player, people say I can't make it. I've always won against the odds.
This was the new game that you needed to...
Exactly. So I was like, no, I'm going to try. Let me try. I persuaded her to let me try. And then after that, after we hugged for a while and then we shared a kiss, right? And it was...
You shared a kiss?
I shared a kiss, yeah. So that was...
This is called you have reached the peak of the situationship.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the best kiss I've ever had in my entire life. Just the nature of it, right? Just nature of it. Like the... How to say? It's like the up and down thing. Like you don't have hope and then suddenly you have hope. Kevin, you know, I think after this trip, I'm a bit clearer. My heart sank because I already knew.
No, that's not a good.
No, I knew. But my mind denied it. Okay. I brought her out to this musical, Mamma Mia. Okay, I paid for it and everything. It was a birthday. And during that day when I took her out, she said, Kevin, I don't want to see you again. She didn't say it directly that way. She didn't say it directly that way.
But the meaning was there.
The meaning was there, yeah. It's like, let's cut things off. I don't think we should do this. I was devastated, obviously. You know, because it's the first time I really liked somebody, like genuinely really liked somebody. Then I came home, I cried out to God. I said, don't let me go into depression again. You know, 3 days later, I started radical kindness.
Because of?
Yeah, because one of the reasons she gave me for not working out was that I was too impulsive, too spontaneous, too radical. So I said,
too radical.
So I said, screw it. I'm not changing who I am. I'm putting in a name. So I got to thank her for it. If you ask me to choose between radical kindness and her, I'll choose radical kindness any day.
Yes, true. Sometimes when it's not meant to be.
And I'm not like obviously I'm not schooled in relationships, right? But I feel like from my limited experience, I think that a lot of people go through similar, right? They cannot get rid of their memories or they feel a sense of longing or pain or hurt or longing when they think about these things.
So I see a common theme here, which is, you know, whether in the pursuit of studies, work or relationships, sometimes people unconsciously subject themselves to a position on the bell curve.
I remember your question. What's your purpose of life? I'll ask the question to people. Like, maybe I'll ask you, John. Like, just curious. What's the ultimate purpose of why you do what you do?
I love being a creative adventurer, and to me, podcast, just like my digital artwork, is another art form. It's like, to me, the podcast is like carving a sculpture out of content. Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Got it. And can I ask, right? People say this term, right? When they reach certain things or certain things happen, they feel like it's worth it. Do you believe in that, or do you believe that just the process itself is worth it enough for you?
I would say that the process should be the goal, because if you don't enjoy the process, it shows that your devotion to this so-called passion is not that deep enough. You don't want it badly enough.
Yeah, and so I think that's the answer I would give as well. I think when people really love something and your love is only tied to an outcome, like validation or it's worth it when this person... No, I get where that feeling is coming from, but I listened to a short snippet of a reel, which I thought was interesting. It was saying that the idea of worth it is not always good because it's supposed like it basically puts a value on the outcome.
Correct.
Whereas actually just the process of doing it's worth it enough. And I think I need to remind myself and anyone listening that in this creative endeavor, to me that it's already like, if I die today, I have no regrets. You know what I mean? So that is it. And I think, of course, we can talk about more of the practical side. Yeah, you can find the link between distress and eustress. If you are more scientific, I can give you like graph of performance and stress, right? Some stress leads to eustress, which is good stress, right? That's what the army tries to get you to do. So David Goggins preaches. David Goggins is a bit extreme. But that's eustress, right? And then there's a line where eustress turns into distress. Right? It doesn't exist for David Goggins, right? But we're not him. So for most people, there will be a line between eustress and distress. So an increasing level of stress becomes distress.
Yes.
So where's that line is different for different
where's
people.
the sweet spot, right?
Yeah, you need to find it yourself because
That's
it's
true.
different for different people.
Yeah,
So just try to find it.
I think personally, if I might share, now it's my turn to share.
Yeah.
We're in a sharing session now, mutual therapy session. So for me, in 2009, I survived a very major car accident. And then I broke like a few ribs, right?
Okay.
And then I was at home for a good half of year. I couldn't laugh, which is my favorite endeavor. If you all haven't noticed, I like comedy, I like laughing. And so it made me realize that we're all here living on borrowed time.
Yeah.
And we should just enjoy every day actually. Even if you don't know when you're going to reach your so-called goals, because all these goals, they're just concepts, right? They're just concepts we make to give ourselves a sense of purpose, because we are just bags of human meat living on this rock that's moving in space. And ultimately, nothing really matters except the moment we have right now.
Wow. And I think that was what my life journey taught me as well, because in the early 20s was just red pill culture, hustle culture. And very little of hustle culture literature talks about the downside.
That's true.
It's very little. It's always dreams, goals, set goals, productivity, get it, happiness line, achievement. Subtly.
Sign up for my free masterclass, link in bio.
And I don't deny that the process of striving can give you a lot of satisfaction, but I think all of us has to find that balance between self-demand and self-care.
God gives his toughest struggles to his strongest soldiers. And some people will be like, please pick another soldier.
Religion is another interesting topic that, not many people explore in Singapore for obvious reasons, but I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to start a series on religion and spirituality.
And why do you have this deep motivation to explore religion and spirituality?
First of all, it's a niche that's not covered because everyone's scared of doing it. Second of all, I think that there needs to be more, not needs, I think people could benefit from a bit more empathy with different religions.
There's an obvious religion that everyone in Singapore subscribes to, money.
Yes.
Other than the bell curve, these two unconscious, I call it the unconscious gods of society, the bell curve and money.
Yeah.
Even if they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
That's true, right? And so now what is your view on religion at this point in time?
I think it will evolve, I think as my life evolves, when I find God again, I'm getting a tattoo maybe on my left side that says, it's a dove, tattoo of a dove and a snake. So it's this verse that says, wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. And a dove represents surrender, right? Because in Noah's Ark, when the floods came and everything, God's promise, right? And then he sent out a dove. It didn't come back. It came back without a branch for a couple of days. And one day it came back with an olive branch to signify that there's dry land. So it's a metaphor for God's providence.
And hope. Yes.
Right? Surrender. So I have a tattoo here that says Invictus. I got this after my second depression. This is my favorite poem, by the way. Invictus stands for unconquered. Right? I'm the master of my fate, the captain of my soul. It's a famous line, but actually it's the line of the poem. Yeah. So this is control, right? Control self-efficacy. And then you balance that out with surrender. Because there are certain things you can't control. You have to surrender to a higher power. You have to submit. I believe in a higher power. I believe that human beings don't have all the answers. I think there's strength in surrender. And even the recent Ryan, I know I'm transitioning in different areas, but Ryan Garcia, the boxer.
Yes.
Recently he went into, he started acting up, right, and saying that God is these people are evil. They are
which people are evil?
Governments, they are doing the elite.
The Illuminati.
Yeah.
State,
correct. So the elite are basically doing things that they captured me and they forced me to watch them rape children and things like that.
Really? Ryan Garcia said that?
No, he didn't exactly say rape children, but he said somewhere along the lines of they did something weird to kids.
To him. To him and to kids. They made him
they
watch
made him
something.
watch. Yeah.
Wow. And,
So then you talk about the Bohemian Grove, right? You know about that?
yes, I know about that.
Yeah,
The
so-
owls.
Correct. So for those who are not aware, Bohemian Grove is this known thing, by the way. It's not a story. Like it is somewhere in the woods of America. People are very, very powerful people, rich people gather and do some form of weird ritual.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a joke, but it doesn't seem like a joke. It is some weird
It was
ritual.
in the show House of Cards as well.
Yeah, where they worship Mola, which is a god, like a Babylonian god or something. It's an owl.
Yeah, owl.
And
The
then-
owl man
Yeah, and then you wonder, like, hey, who behind these elites around the world? Like, what are they doing?
run this town. Like Jay-Z said, run this
And
town.
I'm sure Andrew knows a lot more about the world because he's traveled like hundreds of countries. He's a billionaire in assets. So, he knows things that people don't, and he's probably already curating what he's saying a lot.
Mm.
Right? And so, like, it's just fascinating to me to have a broad perspective on the world. And obviously, I'll never apply that to the extent.
Mm.
But it's still interesting to understand.
Why do you think the Ryan Garcia went on social media to say that the elites had kidnapped him?
Listen, I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe he's
he's-
going through a mini episode for all you know. Could be just fake. He could be going through a mini episode.
Has all the boxing gone to his head?
Right? Like, if what you're saying is real, you have to back it up. You have to be careful.
Mm.
You cannot just say things like that. And then he was like, no, don't worry. Like, God will be help me and everything. So obviously, he's already drunk and a bit of a manic state. Because one of the symptoms of mania is hiding behind God, right?
Correct.
He's being empowered by a higher power.
Yes, the bell curve.
No, because when I was in mania, I also genuinely believe I was invincible.
You know what looks like bell curve? The body of the owl. So, what is your ideal relationship? Having gone through such a
I really don't know. We just
intense journey.
Listen, we talked about ideals earlier, right? Love is somewhat practical in Singapore society,
Mm.
but there's always an element of mystery. There's always an element of euphoria.
Mm.
It's not all money and BTOs and numbers.
No,
No, because it's part of it. It's definitely part of
Yes,
it. But I think there's still a room for romance, and you'll find that
There's
somebody.
still room for romance. yeah. Sounds bleak, guys. Sounds bleak. Yeah.
But you'll find somebody that you can sit underneath the stars.
That you
and
can
share.
suffer together in the BTO with.
Yeah. You can sit underneath the stars and listen to Taylor Swift together or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of Taylor Swift, you actually posted one video where you were very emotional during a Taylor Swift concert.
was I? No, that's Coldplay.
Oh, that's Coldplay.
Yeah, I like
it
Taylor
felt like Taylor Swift.
No.
Yeah.
Don't anyhow cancel me.
I'm remembering it wrongly.
Yeah.
So
Fix You is my favorite song of all time.
I can fix her.
Fix You is my favorite song because it mirrors my life. Yeah, I've cried many tears with that song. So like Fix You is my all-time most listened to favorite song. Taylor Swift, I don't relate to her music. But
Who do you want to fix?
the song's not really about fixing people. It's about lights will
It's
guide you
about-
home.
Oh, and what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, lights.
I'm not-
lights.
it's been a while since I
Hey,
listened to the Coldplay
lights.
song. Lights will guide you.
Yeah,
home.
so
it's
so-
about fixing yourself.
Lights. No, it's not. Light's a metaphor for whatever higher power love, and eventually, lights will guide you home.
The bell curve will guide you home. Back to Holland. No, that's joking.
Yeah, but
Back to the growth. What? The growth of owls, is it?
a lot of people that DM me are suffering because of money. Yeah.
Why?
They either got scammed, they either no money.
They got scammed.
Yeah. So their mental health is in shit because they got scammed.
And why do you think so many people in Singapore have been scammed?
I actually did 2 videos on this. I purposely scam my followers.
What?
Yeah. Quite funny because I want to educate them. So I give ang paos, right? So like, imagine I'm at ang pao. So I say, how many days are there in Chinese New Year? They say 14. So I give them $5. I say, now let's play a game. Spirit of Chinese New Year. I have 5 envelopes. 5 ang paos. 3 of them $10, 1 empty and 1 50. Do you want to play or not? So they play, right? They play. Now everything's empty. Okay. Yeah. So in the end, I revealed to them why you got scammed, and it's a couple of reasons. Number one is that I built your appetite.
Yes.
Right, that's what scammers do. They create a win-lose game
Yes.
by giving you that $5, thinking that you have a chance to win.
Yes.
So they whet your appetite a little bit, build your greed, and then they set up a win-lose game. Like a casino is a win-lose game, for example. The house always wins, right? So you set it a win-lose game, and then they lose. Now, one more thing here, right, is the illusion of credibility. So you notice in those videos, right? Very cute, very, very cute. The people, I make them touch the ang pao. As I say, the clue is in the ang pao.
The clues
Yeah,
is over.
yeah. Then you touch it. This one feel fatter. Some more
This
bendable.
one feel better.
Yeah, really, it's like more bendable.
They buying what? Lego.
No, serious.
Lego minifix.
Even in Chinese, when you see this, what people playing their cards, everything.
Yeah.
So it feels more bendable. You know, like the feng shui is good here, and then
Like
the same thing,
shaking the pop mart toys.
Yeah, then one girl was like, we learned about this in a module.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology.
Yes. This is more bendable. This is far more better.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually they chose it as illusion of credibility, right? And then illusion of choice. And then what I also do is I build trust. And then I scam. Because they saw my content before, they know that I'm thinking a nice guy. But now I have the license to scam them. And almost all scams start out with trust. For some reason you trust the fella. There's some illusion of credibility that person built up. I raise money for people, by the way, you know. Recently, I just did a fundraiser. In one day, we hit 25K.
For who?
A family, a couple. They're suffering from nasal cancer. So she reached out to me, said that her husband has nasal cancer. 3 kids, one on the way. 4th stage. Okay, not working, both not working anymore because she can't work, it's too weak from the chemotherapy.
And they have 4 kids.
Yeah, one on the way.
What?
Yeah, it's very tough. In the early 30s, by the way. Early 30s.
Wow.
So she reached out to me and said that, Kevin, like, I just want to thank you. You know, your content has brought me strength during this troublesome time. I don't think she expected any help from me. I genuinely, in my heart, don't think she expected any help from me. She just wanted to thank me. Okay? But I looked at the message, and because people don't ask me for help, all the more I want to help them. So I said, let me do a fundraiser for you. People get scammed because they trust. Yeah, people lose money to their friends because they loan money and trust. Yeah. By the way, I've lost a lot of money, loaning money, but I lost 20K.
You loan 20K to your friend.
Since I started TikTok to people.
You loan to
A bit naive.
combined 20K to strangers on TikTok. And
half of it is lost.
They have disappeared.
Half of it is lost. One of them is a close friend, so I can't blame for that. I mean, the guy really helped me.
Drop into his DMs. So how does such an experience not leave you jaded, and how do you
I'm
still
not jaded. I'm not jaded.
keep true to your radical kindness brand?
I'm not jaded because I think true love is to love even when you're hurt. I think that's the essence of true love. And to me, right, these events are teaching me true love. So I'm damn grateful for them. Yeah, because it shows me that, Kevin, you can love. Like, it's okay, let go.
It's okay.
No, serious, because like that money, I think if they need it, they need it. So be it. I'm in a privileged position where I can make it back pretty quickly. You know, not many people can say that. So like, why have that attachment to that? Like, oh, screw you, you know, I hate you, you know, you shouldn't do this to me. I learned my lesson.
Scam Kevin out of the money. You shouldn't DM him and request for money and not reply him. Right. But you know, having said that, I think you have been very true to your brand. Sometimes you maybe you have taken it to the extreme.
Radical.
Yeah, literally radical, right? And sometimes it has worked and sometimes it hasn't worked. But I guess that's the nature of life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not everything works out and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's all a learning process.
and I think you know, on that note, this has been a very you know,
I hope my hair looks okay.
Yeah.
By the way, my bad side is my right side.
yeah.
Like my left side, I mean, maybe it's confirmation bias, I don't know. But it's my first time on a podcast, I'm on the right side. I always request on the left, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and anyway, doesn't matter lah. Like, it really doesn't matter.
I think you know, on the note of being radical and taking it to the extreme, we want to thank Kevin for coming onto the SINGAPLEX After Office Hours podcast and for freely sharing his unfiltered take on life, kindness, mental health, romance, seeing the depths of despair and coming back from it. And we want to thank you for watching, guys. Like, subscribe wherever you are, and we hope you're going to be in a good mental state no matter what you're going through.
Yeah.
Till next time.